If you're a virgin on your wedding night, you have an 80% chance of a happy marriage. It drops down to 25% if you've slept with more than 5. Most guys would pray for 5 nowadays. And there's some studies that say as a virgin it's 60-70%. I know people will come for me on that, but the point is still the same. You're more likely to have happy marriage if you're a virgin than if you slept with more than 5. It's like 5 to 7 seems to be when you're ruined as a woman, statistically. Anyway.
A couple has an 80% chance of a happy and successful marriage if the woman hasn't been promiscuous in her past. This number drops down to 20% if the woman has slept with more than 5 people. If you've just seen the clip at the beginning of this video, you'll agree that most guys nowadays will pray that the notch count of their female partners is only 5. Imagine that. Men, both young and old, are realizing that many of the women they like or claim to love are not worth their time. Many of the women expose themselves on social media, as well as in their friend groups, as to the kinds of beings they are. Many men have stopped dating or have checked out entirely from the whole thing for good reason. One of the biggest issues with relationships nowadays is the vast majority of people believe in this soulmate ideal. That isn't realistic, and it isn't normal. Marriage is more about companionship and longevity. The giggling 80-year-old couples who love each other are like a lightning strike. Very rare and is not the general rule for relationships. Why aren't guys getting married anymore? The legal repercussions of marriage in the current climate are so severe that many men find it difficult even to consider getting married. The issue with it is that it especially has more to do with the West than other regions, such as Russia, Asia, or even Eastern Europe. Therefore, as family law has advanced and changed through time, it has become a situation where men face very high risk and little return from marriage. That is one of the issues that men have with marriage. Family law has advanced to the point where it is very high risk, but a poor return for men, and low risk, but a great reward for women, particularly if they want to leave it. 8 out of 10 divorces are initially started by women rather than men. We all understand that even the thought of divorce equals the end of a relationship. Consequently, if you find yourself in a marital situation, and it doesn't even have to be marriage-related, in many Western nations, if you live together for a long enough time, the state will recognize it as a common law marriage. They will also regard your split as a marriage since, by law, they treat it as a marriage. It then includes child custody arrangements and marital assets that are intended to benefit women. This brings up another problem that males have. Why should I get married when I see so many fathers losing their parental rights? They just end up losing a major chunk of their paycheck, sending money to their ex-wife, and then seeing how severely their relationship with their children deteriorates. For a good reason, such women are referred to as divorce machines. I'm not sure whether there is a solution or a method to get around the fact that men are purposefully and strategically avoiding marriage. As several guys have often asked me, how can you satisfy the biological want to pass on your seed? I've kind of touched on this subject from time to time and discussed some other possibilities as well. By nature, men are designed to scatter their seed, while women are designed to basically seek the highest value men with who they can intertwine and use up their resources. Although there are two distinct dynamics, the status of family law is so dismal that it is just not sane from any point of view for a man to live in a situation that the state considers to be a married arrangement. Why would you put yourself in a position where the state might decide what happens to your assets, monthly income, and parental access? In addition, family law is constructed in a way that disincentives women from acting fairly or in the children's best interests. The way family law is established is intended to maximize their hypergamous nature when they divorce, and as you probably already know, women are always seeking stability. They are always seeking upgrades to where they are at. A few weeks ago, I overheard a conversation between 2 ladies at a Starbucks while I was there for business. One of the women remarked to the other, who was thinking of divorcing or leaving her spouse, "You should do it." It's ironic that she arrives in a brand new Range Rover, leaves the kids off at school or daycare, and then meets up with a girlfriend to discuss getting a divorce. I heard her buddy say, You know, girl, you can take half his monthly money, the vehicle, the home, and not have to put up with his dumb behind, or something along those lines. That's how some women view marriage and the advantages of divorce, if that gives you a little bit of insight and helps you to understand a little bit more. I'm aware that some women may point out that their divorces didn't go that way, and that they had to pay the man. It's all right. That could also occur sometimes. However, because of the nature of the intimacy market and how men and women connect, guys frequently find themselves in situations where they meet attractive women who end up marrying them. Meaning that when they get married, the guys are a few points higher than them. However, when the divorce occurs, she wants to maintain her position, and hence retaliates through the divorce, and as a result, ends up with his finances and assets. Men are now avoiding marriages because they don't want to lose their resources. They are avoiding marriages because it's just not a good personal investment anymore. I mean, why would a guy marry someone knowing that there's like a 90% chance he will end up divorced, and then everything he has worked hard for since the last 20 years is probably going to be taken away from him? Men are avoiding marriage because they know that no matter what happens between them and their wives, the justice system is most likely going to see them as the guilty ones and punish them for it. Men are avoiding marriage because they know they can instead spend more peaceful lives without women. They know that there's no point coming home to a woman because, she's not even going to be there, and B, she's only going to complain and whine. The empowering responsibility to be providers no longer exists for men, and this was the biggest reason men used to get married in the first place. Men would rather marry someone young and in her fertile prime than marry someone their own age or someone older than them. But more and more younger women are also choosing their careers over starting a family, so that doesn't leave men with a lot of options. You see, the MGTOW movement opened men's eyes to the realities of relationships and marriage. It allowed men to create a safe online community for themselves where they could talk about the times they had suffered at the hands of women. They could share their stories of trauma and figured out that the best way to live a considerably peaceful life without drama and negativity was to not get married at all. So the reality and the truth that women need to hear is that men are avoiding marriage like the plague because they've realized it's just not worth destroying their life. They've realized that it's something that's not good for their mental health and that they can do so much better and more without women. Men have realized that the game is rigged against them when it comes to dating, relationships, and marriage. With marriage, they're taking a huge risk which includes losing their life savings, their house, their cars, their income, and their self-esteem. And the legal system is crafted in such a way that women are given the benefit at every corner and from every angle, while men are assumed to be the perpetrators of disharmony in the relationship, and hence, they are required to compensate for it by financing women for the rest of their lives. It's absolutely insane that men are now beginning to be seen as financial violators and punished for mistreating their spouses by placing them on a budget. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. And let us know your thoughts on this in the comments. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.